Right.
We're back, guys. Three Dudes of Horror. I'm Worm Boy.
Damien.
And Toots. And today we're finally gonna talk about what we've been talking about the past few podcasts.
Yeah.
The awesomely bad / shitty bad horror movies. We're actually gonna kind of shoot the shit and kind of mention a few, and then we're gonna have our own top 10 list, and while we're doing that, we can determine based on our own opinion whether we think it's awesomely bad, it's shitty bad. So let's get to it.
But this is gonna be like laid back. We're just gonna.
There's just so many.
There is so many.
I mean, we can't do it all in one. I mean, maybe we could if we had like a lot of time, but
yeah.
And like, if we could define awesomely bad, it's just the kind of movie that well, we're focusing on horror movies, but the kind of horror movie that like you can watch with a group of friends and just marvel at and just be so entertained at just how atrocious it is.
Yeah,
like that's awesomely bad. So.
Yeah, it's like a guilty pleasure, pretty much.
That's the category we're focusing on today.
Yeah, where you yourself like the movie, even though you acknowledge it's pretty damn bad. And then shitty bad is just one of those where you're like, God damn, why did they make this? Yeah,
it just sucks. There's no way around it.
Yeah. All right, so
kick us off, Toots.
All right, so one of the ones that I'm gonna go ahead and consider this a horror movie because it does have supernatural elements to it. Is Spawn. Because they do go to hell, and it's based on the comic, and the thing is, it came out in 1987, the movie, but at the time HBO had that animated series. I don't know if you guys remember that.
That one was awesome.
I remember.
Yeah, it was a really good animated series.
Yeah.
And I never really read like the comic or anything like that.
But because of the animated series, everybody back then, because I was in
fell for it.
I was in eighth grade, I think, when Spawn came out. But everybody was all excited. Everyone was like real hyped up about the movie.
Yeah.
Because
of the
cartoon.
Series.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember buying action figures that were at the time really expensive.
Yeah, the Todd McFarlane.
I was about to say, yeah.
Yeah. And I remember watching it at theaters, and this one, to me, this one's a shitty bad one. This one's a shitty bad one.
The saving grace was John Leguizamo as the clown.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, I like my little head.
Yeah. Or what was it that scene where that's that big explosion, like see it Wanda's like that.
Yeah.
He's all flying. Yeah, good God, that one was fucking terrible. All right, Damien, if you want
to. Ooh, Toxic Avenger.
Toxic Avenger.
I actually have the Tox box. Like.
Oh God.
What was it? This is like.
What is that? Like,
you can't even call Toxic Avenger the whole series of B movies. These are just like M movies or something like that.
Yeah.
Like they're intentionally bad from the 80s. It's like he's a hero that was like a nerd that got bullied and thrown into like toxic waste.
Yeah, coincidentally there was a toxic waste truck driving through the school or whatever it was, and one of the pails was open, and then this nerd that I think they put him in like a tutu or something like that,
and that's why he has it all the time now.
I'm still trying to remember this movie. Is it the one where he's like disfigured?
Yes.
Yeah.
And green or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
And like his superhero weapon is a mop.
Yeah.
Like it's bad.
This one's awesomely bad. Like I really get a kick out of this movie.
It's fun to watch.
Yeah. And of course it's from Trauma.
But isn't it like he has like how Spider-Man has his Spidey sense? Like Toxic Avenger has like Tomatrons, or what is it called, that like go off, like he gets senses like when evil people are around. It's called like trauma tones or something like that.
Yeah, it was like trauma sense or trauma.
My trauma tones are reacting right now, and then and he like violently murders like bad people from that. There's like an evil corporation.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like just but it's funny. Like he murders people like in these like horrific ways, but the way they do it, the way they film it, it's just funny. Like in what's part 2 when he's in Japan,
Mm-hmm.
when he puts the fish iron thing on the guy's nose,
Yeah.
and then the guy's nose is like a fish. It's like stuff like that. And the dude from Spawn comes out in one of them.
Oh, really?
Oh well,
Yeah,
they follow each other, huh?
Michael Jai White.
Yeah,
or
Michael Jai
whatever.
White.
Yeah, like he's like one of the people in that evil corporation that's like Toxic Avenger is like battling through all the movies.
Yeah, and
And I remember part 3. I always remember where he takes a monstrous piss on the devil. He's having like this. He's having like this like gladiator, like I don't know, like match against the devil. Like they're having a series of challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Like he just pisses all over the devil. Like it's so bad, but it's fun to watch.
Yeah, and I do get a kick out of whatever trauma movies I've seen, other than Toxic Avenger, like Surf Nazis Must Die and Class of Nukem High. It's been a while since I've seen those, but it's that B movie horror, full of blood and violence and gore and titties.
But they're intentionally bad.
Yeah, they're intentionally bad. Yeah.
They know what they are. They're not trying to make like an Oscar bait movie. Like,
Yeah.
They know they're making bad movies and they're just having fun with it, and that's why it's fun to watch them.
Yeah.
But Toxic Avenger, didn't he became like the mascot of like Trauma?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like he became like their like poster boy.
Yeah.
I think another one was Anaconda. That
Oh,
was
yeah.
pretty bad.
Yeah, Anaconda. Good
I
God.
mean,
Yeah, that's very bad.
I don't know. From what I remember, they had a lot of money and
Yeah.
it still looked really shitty. Like, what the hell did they do with the money?
The only thing I liked about that movie was Ice Cube, and even then he couldn't save the movie.
Yeah.
Ice Cube was still kind of like he hadn't like branched off much in acting at that point. He was still like Doughboy in every movie from
Yeah.
Boys in the Hood. It's just, but he was just like Doughboy in the Amazon or wherever that movie took place. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it was in the Amazon.
Yeah, I think it was like in the Amazon, and then
And Jennifer Lopez is like taking it real serious, and she
Mhm.
makes it more
her,
funny.
Her
Like,
character was, I don't know, just bland.
and then
The
they,
snake was like, you could tell right away, like, come on,
it was a
make
giant.
make it real.
It's a giant rubber snake.
but this was, and I mentioned this earlier, before the podcast, that this was a time kind of like The Haunting,
Uh-huh.
the remake of The Haunting, where like mid to late 90s and then early to mid 2000s, where everyone just relied on CG and it looked so shitty.
Because that was a big thing back then.
Yeah, because they were like, well, yeah, we could use practical effects, but CG is the wave of the future, you know.
And it was still that.
And it was still shitty.
The late '90s, really bad CGI.
Yeah.
Like when the snake eats Owen Wilson,
Mm-hmm.
and then they go underwater and they show him following the ship or following the boat,
Yeah.
and then like you see like his face in like inside the snake when it's bad.
God, no, the scene that just made me... I'm glad I didn't see this at theaters. I actually rented it like a dumbass, and the one scene that I was like, good God, why? Was where John Voight gets eaten, and then he gets spit out, and he winks,
Yeah,
and then he dies, and it's like, why?
because he was playing like the creepy villain, and like every time like he would wink throughout the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
then,
but
yeah, and I know, yeah. He has like one eye.
And then his accent was like really shitty.
Huh?
I don't know what kind of accent he had, but he was forcing it too much.
I'm trying to remember what kind of accent he had. I remember I was just like, John Voight, what are you doing?
It's been a long time
And I like
since
John
I had a
Voight.
woman.
I like John Voight.
Yeah.
I like him now.
No, I mean I liked him in Deliverance and Mission Impossible, but goddamn Anaconda is like.
Yeah.
And then this one, and then I'm gonna mention this one because I fucking hate this movie, Van Helsing. I did not like this. I did not like this
Yeah.
one.
And it does not have an excuse for bad CGI because this was in the early 2000s. This was not late 90s or mid 90s. Like,
Yeah, this is like mid 2000s. So at this point, the CG should have gotten already like a little bit better.
yeah.
Uh,
And they cast Wolverine as Van Helsing.
and then they had what's his name? Faramir, the one that like from Lord of the Rings. He
Yeah.
was like the comedy sidekick.
Yeah.
Or the comic relief, and then Kate Beckinsale.
Yeah.
with
While we're
that-
talking about
She's hot.
she is hot, but it was a shitty accent.
But I was like saying, while we were talking about atrocious accents, we talk about Kate Beckinsale's Transylvanian accent.
Yeah,
He's the
and-
first one to kill a vampire in 100 years, or what?
That's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
dude. Maybe you should start in,
You should
star in your
audition.
own shitty movie.
You should audition for Kate Beckinsale parts.
I remember seeing it in the. I mean, it was that whole like, it was like that Monster Rally movie. They have
Yeah.
all the like. They got Frankenstein's monster. They got the Wolfman. I mean, they were all in there, right?
Yeah, but
Dracula.
They just fucked it up. And
It was just. It was like they made. It was like they were trying to make Van Helsing like an Indiana Jones movie.
yeah, and
Like the character.
He even looked
and I
like
didn't
him.
and I didn't like Dracula in this one, the one played by Richard Roxburgh.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't like the roles he's been in.
And when he would morph, it was terrible CGI.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I went to see that in the theater. I paid money. I think I actually went with my dad.
Yeah.
We went to go see that, like, and it was one of those like. where
And that's when he
you're-
disowned you.
No,
I'm
no,
kidding.
no. It was he wanted to go see it.
Okay,
And
that's where you
and then-
disowned him.
No, and I'm just like, oh fuck yeah, like it's a monster movie. Let's go.
Yeah.
Like, it's Van Helsing, like from Dracula, and then
Must be good, right?
and I was wrong.
Yeah.
Like, but it was one of those ones that when I saw it the first time, I was trying to convince myself it was good. Because it
Yeah.
has all those characters that I love, and then it's just like, yeah, no. Like, there's no way.
Yeah. And that kind of, and with that whole shit, that kind of goes with like the Haunting remake and American Werewolf in Paris, where it was just shitty CG, and even then the characters weren't that
They
compelling.
didn't build characters.
Yeah.
They're just like, we have CG, so that should be enough.
Yeah, and they were just like, oh, it's gonna be, so much horror now because the CG, like all the monsters are on screen. I'm like, yeah, but it looks so unconvincing.
The Fog remake too was another one that had
Mhm.
atrocious CGI.
Yeah, that one was like 04, 05. something.
Yeah, and the CGI was bad. Like,
Mhm.
it was just terrible. Like
Yeah.
the ghosts look like cartoons.
Yeah,
Like it looked like they were trying to make the ghosts like how they make them in like the Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
yeah.
Mhm.
But they were like if they made a Pirates of the Caribbean cartoon.
Hmm.
It's like somebody's son just, hey,
Yeah.
come help us.
Yeah.
He's just drawing whatever.
Okay. Wormbook, can you think of a awesomely bad or shitty bad
Yeah. It's your
horror
turn.
movie?
It's your turn to throw one in.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think The Wicker Man is pretty bad.
well, the Nicolas Cage, like the remake. The
Yeah,
the
yeah.
remake.
To be clear,
not the
we're
original.
we are not talking about the original,
Wicker Man.
yeah.
That one
Pagan-
just, oh god. Like, I know Nicolas Cage is already a shitty actor as it is, but it's a
Yeah.
shitty
Oh, not
movie.
my
I
eyes.
remember that's the one where he dresses up as a bear, right?
Yeah,
And
then
he
he
punches-
punches the
And he
woman.
punches women. I'm like, fuck, we can't do that nowadays.
I still love that part where he has like the teddy bear or something like that. He's like, how
Yeah.
to get burned? How to get burned? How to get
Yeah.
burned? How to get burned?
And then the what's in the bag? A shark or something?
Yeah.
Or
like
My favorite's the bee scene where they put him on his knees and
yeah. They pour a bunch of bees.
my
and-
eyes, my
yeah.
eyes, my eyes, or some shit like that.
Yeah, and he's like, not my eyes. Ah.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
And he starts doing his trademark Nicolas Cage overacting.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, because I know your wife just hates Nicolas Cage, and
Yes.
I don't mind Nicolas Cage
Oh,
depending
man, I
on the
fucking
part,
hate movies,
because he's so over the top, like a Face Off and whatnot, where it's just so over the top, like it's comical.
Well, he's had good ones like Raising Arizona.
Yeah, and The Rock.
Yeah,
That's it.
but the Wicker Man, the Wicker Man remake, like wow.
No,
But we can't totally slam him because the writing was terrible. Like the story is terrible. Like the original one was like, what was it, like paganism, like a challenging Christianity or.
Yeah,
I'm
these
trying to
are-
remember.
these are a bunch of-
It's been a while since.
And then
women-
and then the remake was like a war of the sexes thing.
Yeah,
like,
a bunch of women
Mhm.
wearing
Yeah.
weird masks and
No, there
like a fucking bear and he fucking hits them.
no, there is another Nicolas Cage movie where he also acts really over the top. I know it's kind of hard to narrow it down just by that description.
Over the top.
Vampire's Kiss.
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, the one where he ate a roach, like a live roach, like he actually ate that.
And it still sucked.
And I've seen, I've seen parts of it. It wasn't that bad, but the fact just his overacting just made it like comedy gold. It was so awesome. So I actually want to watch it in its entirety, and I would actually recommend that one. Is that you got to check it out because it is so awesomely bad, just from what I've seen, in terms of just his acting.
I've got
I gotta check that out.
yeah, I've got Fire Stick homework again.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we because this one's like a classic. We have to mention Sleepaway Camp.
Yeah, that's so it's
Awesomely
very
bad,
awesomely bad,
Like-
very cheesy.
very campy.
Yeah,
like
pun intended.
yeah.
Uh,
Some of the deaths in that movie are pretty like the girl that gets the curling iron like shoved up her twat.
What?
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Horrible.
But I mean, it's the 80s and it's
okay.
it's at summer camp.
I mean, it's not okay, but it's
No,
the
it's
80s.
okay for the 80s because nowadays someone would be bitching.
Oh yeah, no, you.
Oh, I can't believe they showed
Yeah.
that. You know.
But you'd never be able to get away with that today.
Yeah.
Like, it did have a freaky ending though.
Oh yeah, with the twist ending with
Yeah. But it's like it's like a matte painting or something.
Shyamalan.
Yeah. With the chick dude standing there like holding a head like like
yeah, and
the first time I saw the ending, I kind of like usually I don't figure out like twist endings, but that one I was kind of like, she's a guy,
yeah.
like, but I didn't actually think they were gonna like show it like they show like standing there with the dinky hanging out and everything.
Yeah, they showed
full
her.
on.
They showed her junk pretty much.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Like a little too late.
Yeah, but if you haven't seen it by now, where have you been? So
Yeah, true.
And there is this one, just thinking of just horrible, shitty bad movies is Children of the Living Dead. And I know you guys haven't seen that one.
Oh,
It's one of those where it's almost like a case study in terms of how bad it is.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Can we make up?
Because the thing is, the only saving grace from it was Tom Savini, and even then, they dubbed over him a few times.
What?
Yeah, they did
Why would they do that?
him mumbling like, "Okay, there it is," or like he's not talking,
Yeah.
and they dubbed over him, and then he dies within the first 5 minutes, and like, well, that shit's over, and the movie keeps going. And the
It was
makeup,
like shameless dubbing.
Maybe it's
Yeah,
because they
shameless
could only
dubbing.
afford him for 5 minutes, and they're like, "Oh, the rest is scrap."
yeah, I was like, Tom Savini, you're too good for this. You don't need to be here. You're a legend already. You don't need to be here. And the makeup is so atrocious you could obviously tell they're like Spencer Gifts, Halloween store like gloves. They're supposed to be like demon gloves, and the makeup and shit.
But what's the whole what's the synopsis of the plot of the movie?
All right, let me see if I can remember it straightforward because it's just a bunch of crap.
Well, the reason I'm asking is because if you actually explain the synopsis that writers came up with and thought of, this will be good for a movie, that explains even more, elaborates how awesomely bad these movies are.
The thing I can remember is that there was a cemetery, and there was a zombie outbreak. And it was all started by this one guy. I think his name was Abbott or something like that. And I guess he was like a warlock or what have you. And I think Tom Savini tries to kill him, but he ends up killing Savini. And something I'm trying to remember. Like I said, it's like trying to remember like a traumatic event. And and it came to the point where.
Don't re-traumatize yourself.
Yeah, I know. And it came to the point where they somehow managed to kill him, this Abbott character, like this guy, and he put like a curse or something like that, and then somebody digs him up, and then he curses the children, like these children die, and like, okay, now they're gonna come back to life. So he's leading like this army of children zombies. And like I said, it's kind of bits and pieces, but it was so atrocious that it's one of those things where I try to repress it, and now it's coming back. So thanks, Damien.
It's a real.
Well, I can't blame you. I brought it up myself. So it's just.
So you could say that it's a really bad mashup of Village of the Damned and Dawn of the Dead.
Kind of, except the children didn't have any psychic powers from what I remember.
Well, that's what I mean. It's a mashup of Dawn of the Dead with Village of the Damned.
Yeah,
those zombie kids attacking everybody.
Yeah, but even to call it a mashup of Village of the Damned and Dawn of the Dead would be an insult to those two movies.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's why I said a bad mashup. A poor attempt.
Yeah, I swear, it's one of those things where. It's almost the equivalent of when you taste something terrible, and then you're like, "Oh my god, this is awful! Here, try it. You should try this because it's so bad." It's one of those where it's so god awful that you kind of want somebody else to see it, just to make sure that you're not going crazy and making the whole shit up.
But is it one that you can watch with a group of friends and kick back with snacks and cokes and a few beers and enjoy together, just marveling at the.
You can try. Your friends would probably disown you afterwards because of the movie.
They'd be like, "You said this was gonna be fun."
Yeah, why did you send this plague, on our house?
Yeah, I would disown you too.
This pox on our house.
Because you're the one telling us to watch it.
Well, while you mentioned cemeteries and zombies and stuff, we have to throw in really quick the mother of all awesomely bad movies is Plan 9 from Outer Space, which got really famous by the movie Ed Wood, that Tim Burton made, where Johnny Depp plays Ed Wood, the director of the movie. And quick synopsis: aliens come to Earth, and they plan on either destroying humanity or ending humanity or stopping humanity from whatever humanity's doing on Earth by resurrecting corpses in Hollywood cemeteries.
Yeah,
that sounds really crappy.
And then the corpses are zombies and vampires or something. And Vampira comes out. Oh.
No.
Oh.
No, but you know what? You know what's crazy is Bela Lugosi was the star of the movie.
Yeah.
And he died before just to give you an idea of how bad this movie is.
Yeah.
He died before they started filming the movie.
What?
I'm not kidding, all of the moments that he comes out in the movie are like clips from
Some other
his
movie?
previous movies, or like screen or like or like screen tests that I think Ed Wood did with him before,
Yeah.
and then he died,
Wow.
and he still like made him like the star
He
role.
still
in
came
the-
out in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't so lucky. So, but it's see, that one is one of those where you could have, playing with friends and
Yeah.
drinking beer and just kind of, I guess roasting it or kind of trolling it, throughout.
But I need to look it up because I don't know if it had like some sort of like play on the fear that everyone had back then of like the Cold War. That was like that Cold War paranoia in the 50s.
Yeah.
It's possible.
I don't know, but I would need to look it up again.
Let's see.
You wanted to talk about Blood Rain.
Blood Rain. It's an Uwe Boll movie. If you're not familiar with Uwe Boll, he's also done House of the Dead and Alone in the Dark. So-
Which, by the way, are really good movies.
Uh,
I'm just joking.
Yeah, Blood Rain. It's based off of the video game, obviously, and it's one of those where I'm trying to remember the plot itself. I just remember that Kristanna Loken played Blood Rain,
It's hot.
and
Michelle
she is.
Rodriguez.
Michelle Rodriguez came on, and couldn't
She's
save the
hot.
movie.
I rented the movie and saw it in its entirety, and it was so bad that
I would do-
what I remember is that those two hot chicks came out in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what you
Yeah,
remember.
Michael.
That's what I remember. Shit.
I don't remember the plot. I don't
Spank
remember.
bang.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and Michael Madsen came out, and
I didn't see. I don't.
and Ben Kingsley came out, if I remember correctly.
Wow.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, he came out, and I was like, Ben, what are you doing, man? It's like,
He's like, I need crack money.
Well, you mentioned.
if your children are telling you to come out in these movies, you should slap them immediately and stop.
Well, you mentioned that Uwe Boll did the movie,
Yeah.
so I still haven't seen House of the Dead, but you've seen it.
Yeah.
I've read a lot of stuff on the internet about it, but I haven't actually seen it. You've actually gone through the torture, like.
Yeah. Oh, don't worry. We'll get to that one when we get to the.
House of the Dead?
Yeah, we'll.
Oh. that
Yeah,
was-
we'll get to that
That
later.
was really shitty.
We'll get to that later. I've seen parts of Alone in the Dark, and that wasn't any good either.
Most of the fucking movies made from like video games, like hardly ever are good. There is some, but fucking House of the Dead, come on. Like, who the fuck did that?
Oh no, well, like I said, we'll get to House of the Dead
I
in
hate
greater
that fucking
detail
movie.
later. I know you do. So do I. But like I said, we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a few minutes. Now another one that's I want to say it's borderline awesomely bad to shitty bad because it is so terrible. But it's almost, I don't know. It's kind of in that in between to me, and it's The Stuff.
The stuff.
The Stuff.
It had that 80s thing where there's always like a land deal or a corporate takeover backdrop, like background, like subplot or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and but yeah, with the Stuff. Well, pretty much what it is there was some construction going on in some land area, and these workers find this substance that looks kind of like yogurt. And I don't know how they managed to do it, but at some point I think somebody just accidentally tasted it, and they were like, wow, this is really good. We can market this. We don't even know what it is, and we found it in the fucking ground.
Let me
and
taste it.
Yeah, exactly, and then it came to the point where they're selling it, and it's a huge hit, and everybody's loving the taste of it. And then it turns out it's actually this alien substance that actually, from what I remember, it just kind of takes over you, almost like Night of the Creeps, where it
Yeah.
takes over your mind and you become like a zombie, pretty much.
No, and what you were saying was it was like during the 80s, there was a lot of people had a lot of mistrust in like the way that like corporations were advertising products,
Yeah.
and that they were kind of like doing like a spoof on that,
Mm-hmm.
like how they were advertising the stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
Because they didn't know what it, yeah, because they themselves didn't know what it was. They just knew that it tasted good, and it looked like yogurt, and it was sweet. So it was like, oh, here you go, and we'll make millions.
Bad 80s.
Yeah, or shitty bad 80s.
Yeah, there's plenty of them.
Yeah.
Or Kingdom of the Spiders.
Kingdom of the Spiders.
There's spiders all over town.
Yeah, starring William Shatner.
Yeah.
And I will say this though, with Kingdom of the Spiders, yeah, Shatner's acting. Well, it's Shatner, so this.
It's 80s Shatner.
Yeah, it's like late 70s, early 80s.
But they're actually, to their credit though, there was actually some real spiders, right?
Yeah.
Used in the movie.
They used tarantulas, if I remember correctly. And yeah, I understand you have arachnophobia.
Yeah, we know how to get to Damien.
Yeah. But there were actually moments. I will say this is awesomely bad because it is cheesy and it's one of those like 70s, early 80s like monster movies.
Yeah.
You know, like Phase 4 which was ants, but with this one it was like tarantulas, and but with this one there were actually some moments where it was actually kind of creepy because it was almost like the movie Arachnophobia, where you stumble onto like a corpse and you actually see like a spider on them, you know, and you're like, good God, and they're covered with webs and everything. What happened, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I actually didn't mind this movie, Kingdom of the Spiders, and it was just funny seeing William Shatner act like, well, you know, like Shatner.
And then there were those kind of movies back then in that era where a dime a dozen. There was Empire of the Ants.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a fire ants, and then like some like toxic waste or something gets spilled on them, and then all of a sudden they're like monstrous.
Yeah,
like they're like the size of like semi trucks, but like the special effects are so bad. Like the special effects are so bad that like sometimes they weren't like set right to make it look like they were running across whatever they were supposed to be, and like they're floating, like they're running across air.
Yeah.
Or like you can tell that their puppeteers are so bad. Like
let's see. So what would be another awesomely bad or shitty bad?
Well, from the time we grew up in the 90s was Brain Scan.
Oh yeah.
And that was
Scan.
That was like when Eddie Furlong was still like popular from Terminator 2.
Mm-hmm.
So he got a starring role, and then there's like he gets a video game or something that it's called Brain Scan, that it like actually gets in your mind, and you can't like you think that
you're controlling this character, but it's really you like committing these murders. You know?
But then like you don't know if he's like inside the game or if it's just like or if he's actually committing all these murders and stuff.
Yeah, it's one of those where.
But it was like when we saw it as kids, it was good. It was like, oh, this is a cool movie. And then like I remember I rented it. I hadn't seen it in years, and I rented it as an adult, and I rewatched it, and I was just like, wow, like the things I actually.
What were you thinking?
The things I genuinely thought were cool.
Well, we were all kids at one point. We did stupid things.
I was never a kid.
The dude looks cool though. The guy that
what's his name? Like
the one that like hosts Brain Scan, the guy with the red mohawk and like he actually looked cool.
And no, but going back to the whole, you know, like Phase 4 Kingdom of the Spiders thing, another one that was very cheesy, and I'm trying to think if it was awesomely bad because I saw it one time, and I think this was when USA still had like Monster Vision and shit.
I remember that.
Yeah. Hosted by Joe Bob Briggs.
Yeah.
And
good show.
Yeah, he was really cool. And it's one called The Nest. and this one actually had just cockroaches.
Oh god.
So it was these killer cockroaches that took over.
Oh, that sounds really crappy.
It was, from what I remember,
Is it like
was
the birds or what?
Nah. With this one was just imagine.
Like, how would they kill you? Like, they would eat you or bite you or?
That's the thing. I only saw that that one kind of.
Wow, was that bad?
Yeah.
You didn't want to see it again.
Like I said, it wasn't shitty bad per se. It was very cheesy.
Mm.
Like pretty much almost awesomely bad.
Yeah.
You know, where you have like this roach like come up and like essentially this whole nest just come together. And I remember this one scene where you see this human, like I think it was somebody's father, and they look kind of zombified a bit, and they're like, "What's like, Daddy? What's going on?" Whatever. And you just see him just kind of fall apart like that, and just all these roaches start coming out.
Oh,
But are they like monster roaches or just regular sized roaches?
I think the regular size ones, from what I remember.
Hmm.
Yeah, that one's gonna scare your wife pretty much.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, we won't watch that.
Like they're creeping up on you in the Creepshow, in the first Creepshow movie, where it's just cockroaches.
It's like the horror movie version of Joe's Apartment.
Yeah.
You know what? You know which one I just thought of like awesomely bad creatures is the 8-legged freaks.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
but
that one-
it's intentionally bad.
You actually
like,
saw
Yeah.
that one? I thought you were scared.
I saw that one.
I saw it and I got scared.
Yeah.
Like even though it's like a dumb, just B movie. Like, but it's
Yeah,
one
but
of those like it's intentionally bad. Like
Yeah, it was designed to be like a B movie flick where you just get some popcorn and a soda and you just kind of enjoy the show and just leave it at that. Where the producers and everybody involved just they knew what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that one. Like.
Yeah, fuck that movie.
And then there's a lot of like, we could do like a whole, like there's a whole section of like remakes that are awesomely bad.
Mm-hmm.
Nightmare on Elm Street, The Fog.
Yeah.
There's some remakes that I think are good, but then there's like Nightmare on Elm Street remake.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
That was
The one that I thought was shitty bad, and I know you're gonna disagree with me on this, and it's not a remake per se. It was more like a spin-off or somewhat of a sequel. Is Alien versus Predator?
Well, it was a hybrid. It was a fusion of the Alien and Predator. Those two franchises.
That's why I said spin-off because
they started getting Freddy versus Jason, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, but that's is Freddy versus Jason awesomely bad?
No. I'm just saying is that what started the whole like versus thing?
Well, Alien versus Predator, that was like because they had comics for years, right, of Alien versus Predator.
I think so, and I remember they made a video game of RoboCop versus Terminator, and things like that. Yeah.
I'm ashamed. I like y'all can have a roast right now. Y'all can have a roast on the podcast.
Like, no, I'm kidding.
I like Alien versus Predator, the first one. The first one, Alien versus Predator Requiem. That's bad.
I don't know. My biggest gripe with the movie, first of all, Paul W.S. Anderson cannot write characters. He cannot. He'll probably play a video game or know somebody that plays video games, and he'll be like, "What did that character say? Oh, that sounds cool. We'll put it in the movie." Yeah, because the dialogue is so awkward and wooden, and it's so awkward and wooden, and there's just a bunch of shit that changed. Because remember, it was PG-13.
Yeah.
Even though those franchises were R.
Right.
And I understand the studio was probably like, well, we gotta appeal to everybody because we get more money this way. I was like, no, like Predator and Aliens don't work like this,
And kids are the ones reading the comics and playing the video games.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to get the kids in the theaters. So we got to make it PG-13.
I think if they would have given it like a hard R, I think it would have been a little more successful. Because, for instance, when Alien, well, not Alien, when the Predator killed like those guys on that in that colony or whatever, like the construction place or whatever. Like you see them strung up, but they still have their clothes on. And if you remember, like from Predators 1 and 2, you know, they take everything off, like the skin and
the
everything.
skin. Rip the spine out, like Sub-Zero style.
And that was one of my biggest gripes in the movie, is the fact that they had to tone down a lot of stuff just for that shit reason of like, well, we want more teenagers to come watch it.
Yeah.
Well, it's not like
they're making money, so
it's not like a great movie. It's not, it's not Casablanca.
It's a shit movie.
it's a guilty pleasure of mine.
Yeah.
And it's a shit movie to many. Like, I remember a lot of people being let down by that movie.
It's like you might as well go out and say, I really love Spider-Man 3, or what else? Batman and Robin.
I actually like that movie.
You're shitty for
No,
liking it.
I'm
kidding.
That movie's awesome.
Spider-Man 3, X-Men 3,
Ninja Turtles 3.
We just got into awesomely bad superhero movies.
All right. Yeah, we got to go back. Yeah, we do.
Captain America 1990.
That one was awesomely bad.
Trying to fit that one in.
All right. So can you think of another one? In terms of awesomely bad or shitty bad?
Well, I mean, they're a dime a dozen. They're a dime a dozen. I mean, we can go into our top 10. We actually made a top 10 list of what we more or less agreed on as the top 10 most awesomely bad horror movies.
Yeah, and because there's so many shitty ones out there, this won't be the only top 10, awesomely bad / shitty bad. Depends on the person.
They're a dime a dozen, like I said.
Yeah, this isn't going to be the only top 10. There's going to be others in the future.
Yeah, and anybody can throw in a comment, like one that we missed, or like one we haven't seen yet, or
yeah, there's just so many. But we already did number 10, which is The Wicker Man. So
yeah, The Wicker Man remake.
Talk about that one again.
To kick off our list, number 10 was The Wicker Man that we mentioned already. We just couldn't hold back. Like, we couldn't help it but mention that.
That was my fault. Sorry.
No problem.
Get out. No, I'm kidding.
And so number 9 on our top 10, we had Maximum Overdrive.
Yeah, that one's awesomely bad. I really like this movie. It's like I said, I like Stephen King, and I know this is, Stephen King directing for the first time, or the only time, because he was so full of cocaine.
His one and only attempt at directing.
Yeah. He was. From what I heard, he was pretty high when he made this.
For real?
I think this entire
I didn't know that.
A member of his crew lost an eyeball.
What?
Like a squid blew up or something on the set and damaged his eye so bad that he lost his eyeball, and he sued Stephen King for millions of dollars and won. But that movie's just there's so much
dumb
awesome
scenes.
Stuff. But it's
so awesomely dumb.
Yeah. It's brief synopsis, a comet passes by Earth a little too close or something, or at just the right angle or time or whatever. And so for a 24-hour period, every single inanimate object has a mind of its own, and it's alive.
Yeah.
And it's trying to kill people.
Any electrical, anything based on electricity or a machine or something. Or a complex machine will come to life. Right?
Yeah.
And Stephen King is the one that made the cameo at the very beginning with the ATM.
The ATM tells the guy to fuck off.
Yeah, he's like, hey, the machine told me to go fuck myself or something like that.
And then the bridge, what do they call the bridges that open for the ships to pass?
Like the cross bridges and stuff like that?
It opens up while there's a bunch of people on it and kills a bunch of people. And
and
the soda machine spits out soda and kills the
death
coach.
due to soda.
Yeah, and it kills the coach. He gets hit in the face with a bunch of soda cans.
And then the steamroller that runs over that kid.
Yeah.
And,
It looks really fake.
well, it looks fake to an extent, but the original cut of that was you were supposed to see the kid's head just blow up. Just,
No, but
you
you
know, get
actually-
squashed and you see everything.
But you actually see him go like, yeah.
And then there's a scene where the kid's riding his bike like down the little suburban street.
Yeah.
And there's like a chick hanging out her bedroom window like with her hairdryer cord wrapped around her neck or something.
Yeah.
Like her hairdryer attacked her.
And then the funny thing is that, like, for instance, like the couple, I guess they were like the newlywed couple or whatever. They were driving in this car, and it seemed like the car had like there was no effect on the car. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was very inconsistent like that, where it conveniently doesn't do anything, but all these other trucks and cars, like the Green Goblin one, like or Hobgoblin, whatever it was, like they all like can actually drive around and kill people. You know?
And so don't they? A bunch of truckers are under siege at the truck stop.
Mm-hmm.
And there's all these like 18-wheelers circling, like stalking
Yeah.
them like sharks.
And the only
So
smart one,
bad.
really, to an extent, other than Emilio Estevez's character, was
Emilio.
Emilio. Yeah, was Pat Hinkel's character, like the manager or whatever, the guy that's the boss or whatever of the truck stop.
But that one's fun to watch.
It is fun to watch.
That's not a House of the Dead. That's not that one's fun. That's awesomely bad. Like it's hilarious to watch.
Yeah.
No.
Are you going to the next one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Number 8 is like I'm a huge M. Night Shyamalan fan, but he dropped the ball with The Happening. Like.
Yeah, that's not the only one he's dropped them all.
Well, yeah,
I've seen-
yeah. Okay, yeah, that's fair.
All for me.
Like-
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Like Devil was intentionally funny. If you ever seen that movie.
Yeah.
Well, but he didn't direct that one. He just wrote it.
Yeah, but still, because he was involved in it like that, you're like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But The Happening is another one because I'm a big fan of M. Night Shyamalan, and I remember that was the big one that was all hyped, like M. Night Shyamalan's making an R-rated movie, and it's gonna be all bloody and violent and gory. And I went to see it in the theater, and I remember it was another one of those like where I was trying to believe that it was good.
yeah.
Like when I saw it in the theater, but in the back of your mind, like you're thinking, like, because I mean, like short synopsis, like real quick, it's like for anybody that hasn't seen it and don't see it, if you have like, or yeah, I mean, if you want to have a good time and laugh at how just awesomely bad it is, go ahead and see it. But it's like the plants all over the world like start getting threatened by humans, by mankind, so they start releasing a toxin that makes everybody kill themselves. And it sounds really scary, but the way the suicides are done and stuff, it's like you can't help it. Like it's funny.
It's always funny watching Mark Wahlberg, this tough guy from Boston,
Yeah.
and he's just like, it's okay, we're here now, you know, just talking to the plants like a fucking hostage situation. Yeah.
No, but it's just he has I don't know how many like memorable lines in the movie that are hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, what was it when he's doing his big speech at the beginning or like his lecture? Because it's Mark Wahlberg is a science teacher in this movie.
Yeah, he's I think biology. I think he's a
Yeah,
biology teacher.
he's like a biology teacher. And he's just like, cool.
Like, well, more power to him.
It's terrible though, man. It's such a bad movie. Like, hey guys, what's going on with all the bees out there?
Yeah.
Like, he's like, Albert Einstein said, if all the bees were extinct, mankind would be extinct.
Yeah.
It's like, take an interest in science. Like, I've said that ever since I saw that movie. I've used that quote before. Like,
Okay, so what's happening?
number
Child's
seven's
Play.
kind of a big one.
Yeah.
Child's Play.
I think that one's awesomely bad.
And I guess we're just talking about the the franchise as a whole.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there are some movies like, for instance, I want to say the latest.
I don't know if it's Seed of Chucky or.
Yeah.
Yeah, the latest one was actually pretty cool. Like, it's awesomely bad, but it's meant to be. It's childlike.
Like those, like everything after part 1 was just like awesomely bad, or to a certain extent, kind of shitty bad. Yeah.
But I remember.
But it depends on the person.
But when I saw Child's Play Part 1 when I was a kid, I was actually like creeped out.
Me too.
Like when I was a kid.
Oh yeah.
Fucking doll.
But then you see it later and you're like, he's like 2 feet tall. Like you could just punt him across the room. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
but if you punch him, he might kill you.
I remember seeing part 2 at theaters, at what used to be the mall. It was the mall at the time, and I was watching with a couple of cousins of mine, and we're like, "Oh, Child's Play 2, great." We go and we see it, and I remember the audience was just laughing at the majority of the movie, and I'm just like, "This is supposed to be horror. Why is everyone all laughing?" And it wasn't until years later where I watched it. I'm just like, "Okay, yeah, I could see why."
Now you get it.
Yeah.
It has the nurse chick from American Werewolf in London.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She's like the foster mom.
Yeah.
But the best part of part 2 is at the end where they're in the good guy factory.
Mm-hmm.
Like the dude gets put, like the Chucky puts the guy on the conveyor belt, and he gets the little good guy eyes stuck in his eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I remember the.
And then they melt him like in the.
I remember the audience just erupted with laughter, especially at that part where you see the guy like, choke, and then you see the 2 little eyes like that, and everyone was cracking up, and I'm just like, this is supposed to be scary. What's wrong?
But they're meant it to be like, it's like at that point by part 2 in the franchise, it was already like horror comedy.
Yeah.
And then they like melt him with all the liquid, like boiling hot plastic.
Yeah.
It's bad.
All right, so the next one on our list,
Leprechaun.
Yeah, we might as well say the entire franchise.
Yeah,
although I haven't seen the entire franchise.
Well, we're talking about tiny little dudes running around killing people.
In the hood.
Yeah.
No, but like, oh man, and it's a dude I respect, man. It's Willow. It's Warwick Davis.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but it's like
he's a really good actor.
But I think they were, even in part 1, the very first one, like they weren't trying to make like a serious, scary movie. Like he's like killing people with pogo sticks and like his little like go kart,
Mm-hmm.
or I don't know. Like, what?
Well, I know in the hood one, like I thought that one was really fucking funny.
Yeah, the one thing I remember is whenever. I think I want to say it was part 2 where I think somebody managed to get his gold, and he was just like, "They've got Michelin," like that. Yeah, yeah. That, I mean, those movies were one of those where it was awesomely bad.
Yeah, I remember in the one where Ice-T comes out.
I didn't see that
and,
one.
He starts to smoke weed with one of the guys. I'm like, that's funny. And he says something to the effect like I'm smoking 4-leaf clover weed or something. I was like, oh, that's just horrible.
You know, when they have to start putting like gimmicks in the sequels, like there is one with Leprechaun in space, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And then Leprechaun in the hood.
Yeah.
And it's like it's a gimmick at that
Leprechaun
point.
in the barrio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't think that one
exists.
exists. I don't think that one exists.
I'm waiting for
Might
like
as well.
Leprechaun at the zoo.
Yeah.
Like, how many total are there in that franchise?
Ernest goes to prison.
I honestly don't know.
There's like 5 or 6. Like,
I want to say there's 6, but I'm not sure.
and I bet it's really embarrassing for Jennifer Aniston that's actually her first movie was Leprechaun, the first one.
Mm-hmm.
They all got to start somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, especially once she made it famous with her movies and Friends and all that, like the Walmart and whatnot, like they had these DVDs and they have to have her picture on it because she's a big star now.
Yeah.
That's how they sell the movie.
Exactly. So you see a young Jennifer Aniston like, oh, where am I? Like, well, You're being exploited again. So
Yeah.
Number 5 is a huge one. Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
yeah,
I love that movie.
I like that movie
That's
too.
like one of the greatest awesomely bad movies ever made.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like the whole thing is hilarious. Like all the kills are like clown themed.
yeah, and
They shoot like deadly popcorn at the people or something. Like they actually cocoon them in cotton candy, and their spaceship looks
they're
like
drinking the blood. Yeah,
yeah. And their spaceship looks like a circus tent.
yeah.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't notice this giant glowing circus tent like around the outskirts of town? Like,
Yeah, and my two favorite deaths from that movie has to be the sergeant or what have you.
when he makes him a puppet.
Yeah, when he makes him a puppet. I like that scene. I also like where that security guard, I think it was like in that amusement park, and then you see all these clowns come out of this car, I think, and then they just start throwing pies at him, but the pies are all acidic.
Yeah.
So this guy's being pummeled by fucking pies, and then you just see like him just shortening, and you just hear like that until he's just like a pile, of human remains right there, like missing like the majority of his body.
That movie is. I'm just gonna say it. That movie is the shit.
Yeah, yeah. That one I wouldn't mind owning on Blu-ray. I don't know if it's out on.
Oh,
Blu-ray.
they have.
I think
released
so.
Oh, they have it
on
on Blu-ray. Okay.
Yeah, I mean it's a cult classic. I mean,
You should have that one in your collection.
Yeah, I need to buy that one.
I have the DVD, but I haven't gotten the Blu-ray yet. But
Yeah.
it's awesome. Like it's entertaining to watch.
Mm-hmm. All right,
Number
number
4. Oh shit.
Jaws the Revenge.
Jaws the Revenge.
Uh,
At one point, I was thinking maybe we should include Jaws Part 3. And like, no.
no.
At least Jaws Part 3 had some comedic components to it.
Yeah.
This one, man. Jaws the Revenge.
I just got a headache.
Yeah, I actually need to go take a shit now.
A great white shark follows a family to the Bahamas, warm water climate where there are no great white sharks. And this great white shark like has a psychic connection with Sheriff Brody's wife or some shit.
And the fact that towards the end, when they're trying to, I guess, electrocute it or whatever, they're trying to kind of, and then you hear it roar. It's like you hear the turn on the machine like that, and it shoots like I guess a wave of something at the shark, and you just hear like that. And it's so terrible. It is so terrible.
That shark looks the most fake from all the movies. I know they're all fake, but that one to me looked the worst. Like, that's really fake.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's so bad. It's like, what's his name? Mario Van Peebles is like trying to fake a Caribbean accent.
I feel bad for him, man.
But he's like underwater, and they're like little mini sub because they're like scientists or something.
Yeah.
And like Jaws passes right by him, like literally like on the side of his little underwater or whatever, and he's just like we got some big fish down here, man.
Yeah.
Like he says it like a joke. Like who would not fucking freak the fuck out? Like,
Yeah.
Shit.
especially like you're in the Bahamas. Like
I know, how the fuck did he fucking mutate?
there's just, but it I don't know, like a great I'm trying to critique the movie and I just get tongue tied and frustrated. Like it's terrible.
It doesn't make sense.
For me, the best part of the movie was Michael Caine.
Thank you, Toots.
Yeah, the best part of the movie was Michael Caine, and the little snippet where you see Sheriff Brody from part 1, like that little thing where he's holding the rifle and he's aiming. And he's like, "Smile, you son of a bitch!" Like, and then he shoots. Those are the best 2 parts of the movie,
And that's it.
hands down. Yeah, everything else is just fucking.
Michael Caine's like the comic relief character that's got all the one-liners.
I'll say this though: when Jaws attacked the little plane, like the mini plane or whatever that he had, like the one that he can like sail onto,
Yeah.
like that. Like I was actually worried, and I saw it when I was a kid, so I didn't know any better. And then again when I was older, and that's when I was like, this is awful.
Yeah.
And I actually felt bad. I was like, please don't eat him like that.
Somehow he escapes.
Yeah, somehow he escapes. I'm like,
swims all the way to the other side of the boat.
yeah.
And he's just totally calm and cool. Like, oh, the breath on that thing. Like, another one-liner. Like,
the breath on that thing. Yeah.
And then, like, at the next take, the next cut to him, his shirt is completely dry.
Yeah. I was actually happy. Like, when I saw him emerge from the plane or wherever he emerged from, it was just like, hallelujah. Like, thank God he's still alive. Yeah. All right. So now we're getting into the nitty gritty.
Yeah, it's coming down now.
All right, now
get to the really bad ones.
All right, now remember I said it. We were gonna come back to this one later.
Oh,
well, now it's time.
Take it away.
It's
Toots.
time.
You take this one, Toots. Go for it.
All right, House of the Dead.
House of the shit.
Yeah.
What can we say about it?
Yeah. Again, another movie by Uwe Boll. And there
Why
is.
does he still fucking make movies?
Because there is a German loophole where no, for real, like there's a German loophole. There's a German loophole.
Fuck loopholes.
From what I've read, that it's like tax exempt or it's like tax deductible or something. So even if he loses money,
he makes money.
Yeah, he makes money or something like that.
What the fuck?
Now there is a story behind this movie in terms of my experience watching it. First of all, I was hanging out with a friend of mine. This was years ago when the movie came out on VHS and DVD. I refused to pay full price for DVD, so we settled for the VHS. And it sucks that he made me pay for it. He tricked me into paying for it. I'm not going to name names. But we ended up watching it, and we had vodka and another, recreational substance, but the majority of that we were just drinking vodka just to kind of make it as painless as possible. And we actually, even with that amount of vodka, we still had to stop it several times, because we couldn't stomach it. Not the vodka, the movie. And we actually got engrossed in watching this biography on Ron Jeremy. And we ended up watching that, and we were like, and I was like, "Hey, motherfucker, I paid for this. We gotta at least finish the movie."
That says it all. A biography of Ron Jeremy is more compelling than House of the Dead. And what else do you need to know?
And I'm not saying that the documentary or the biography was so bad that we might as well settle for this. It was actually a good documentary. It was actually a very compelling documentary. We just happened, like, by chance it came on. And we were like... But yeah, that's how terrible this movie is.
Yeah, I mean, and there's snippets of the fucking actual game, dude.
Yeah, that's what I wanted.
Yes, yeah.
I was like, dude, come on.
I haven't seen the movie, but I've read online, like, that they actually splice in clips of the actual video game. Like,
it's like, might as well just sit down and play the goddamn video game.
But what was the purpose of that in the movie?
Because Uwe Boll was trying to be creative, and
But was that actually like between? You know how like they do like between cuts, or they just do it just to do it?
Yeah, it was a segue. They pretty much use them for segues.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yes, that's how. Good God! And then and it gets worse, or better, however you want to put it.
Worse.
Yeah. They had moments where they would have an actor, because they try to make it all stylized and shit. They would put them like on this turntable thing, so whenever they're ready to shoot any zombies, and I mean that loosely, they're pointing a gun or a shotgun or something like that, and they're spinning at the same time. So it makes it seem, it's supposed to look cool, but it
doesn't look cool.
I
fucking hate that movie.
And for me, the biggest shame of it is that Jürgen Prochnow came out in this movie, and I really like him as an actor. He's come out in Das Boot and Beer Fest and In the Mouth of Madness and all these other movies. I think he came out in Beverly Hills Cop 2. You know, and he sometimes, and more often than not, he plays like the villain, you know, or like a sinister character. But so to see him in House of the Dead, I'm like, dude, what are you doing? You know, it's like, why? Like, he could not save this movie. I'm sorry.
I don't think anyone.
No,
No man or.
Will Smith couldn't save this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is one of the movies I will never own at all. I'm not gonna give money to this movie.
Yeah, it's one of.
Did they even release it on Blu-ray?
Nah,
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they did.
I don't think they would spend money on that.
I mean, hey, you never know. They might have.
I know, but,
They might have.
Maybe
and,
one day I'll watch this movie. Maybe.
Yeah.
yeah, play the video
I don't
game
know.
first, and then watch the movie. Because that's fucking.
I've beaten the video game. The video game has a much better story.
I remember playing the arcade version of the video game. Like,
Yeah, it's fucking awesome.
Because we're that old that we actually remember arcades, like at the malls and stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember it being fun. And I never
Still
saw.
is fun.
I never saw the movie. And then I remember I think I remarked to somebody one time, like when I was still really young, like, oh, I want to see the movie, and somebody was like,
Don't do it.
don't watch that movie. But really serious.
Like, use your money to play the arcade.
Yeah, they were like really serious. Like if they like they were warning me like not to venture into the forest. They were like, don't watch that movie.
Yeah, don't walk out there at night.
No, you should watch it though.
And I got scared like it was the tape from The Ring or something.
Yeah.
I was like, is it that bad? Am I gonna die?
I mean, I'll watch it if you want me to.
And they made a part 2, and then once I found out they made a part 2, I'm like, no, thank you. Yeah.
Somebody greenlit a sequel.
Where's that cyanide pill?
Yeah. Where's the strychnine?
Where are those plants so they can kill me?
So House of the Dead was number 3 on our list.
All right, so number 2, and
we are finally there. We have mentioned this damn movie in every podcast we've done.
Yeah.
We are finally here where we are going to talk in depth about
this bastard.
And you would think this would be number 1, but no, there's actually one that's worse than this. But I would actually watch number 1, thousands of times on a 24 to 48 hour loop compared to number 2. And number 2
is
Jason X.
Yep.
We all been quiet. Yeah. What can we say?
Yeah, we've already said it before.
I don't know.
But okay, I will say this: the best part of the movie was that one death where the girl's head or face got frozen, and then Jason slams it down and it's just destroyed.
Yeah.
You know, that was pretty much the only good part of the movie. Other than that, everything else can just suck my balls.
I watched the DVD and I couldn't figure out how. It seems like the production value. It seems like a made-for-TV movie, and this movie was actually in theaters. I remember being a freshman in high school and seeing trailers for Jason X, and
I remember seeing trailers for it.
And I think it actually had that song in the trailer, the "Let the Bodies Hit the Floor."
Yeah,
and it was being all hyped up, oh, he got upgrades, and then he's all
bionic.
He didn't get it. Oh man, he looked horrible.
It's so bad.
It just kept him how he was.
It's when I met Kane Hodder, I should have asked him if he
what
knew.
What were you thinking?
If he knew at the time, did you know that this was gonna become the atrocity that it became?
Yeah.
But he might have punched me out.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
No, I swear, if I ever went to a Comic-Con or a horror con and they had a panel there of famous monsters and whatnot, and it's Kane Hodder and Robert Englund and all that, I probably would have done okay, I have a question for Mr. Hodder. Jason X. Why?
And just walk out.
Yeah, just
He probably would
Jason.
have tensed up immediately and been like, next question.
Yeah, it's like Jason X. Why?
But it's like, it takes place like 400 or 500 years in the future.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
And like at the
so-
and
beginning,
it's still the
like,
same fucking story. The teenager's having sex, and he
Yeah.
wakes up, and then he kills that girl. And
but he's being like held in like a laboratory or something, and like
Yeah.
some government, some
facility.
shady government special ops secret facility, and they're like studying him or something. I don't know.
He destroys the only place they can go survive, and
Yeah,
they're like, shit, now we're really fucked. And then the guy that supposedly the captain, I don't know what the fuck he is, and he
Mhm.
thinks, oh, you just want your machete. Oh, guys, he just wants his machete. Remember that part?
Oh, God. Yeah, I repressed that, but thanks for bringing
Or
it up.
remember that stupid guy, the idiot?
Which one?
The one with the shaggy, the worst one, the one with the shaggy hair.
every character in the
He
movie is
reminds
an
me
idiot.
of the. Oh man,
Every
he's the
character
one that
is so
gets
shit.
his hand chopped off as soon as they
Yeah, yeah.
open the thing.
Okay, on a side note, I will say that it's relating to Jason, is that there's also Jason Takes Manhattan.
No,
That one is awesomely bad.
yeah.
Yeah,
You may not think so, Worm Boy, but
No,
It's awesomely
I think
bad.
it's bad. That's why I
That-
said like.
no. But the thing is, like, I really enjoy that movie.
yeah, it's enjoyable
It's
to watch.
a bad movie,
It's terrible.
but it's terrible, but it's a fun sit
Yeah.
and it's
every-
enjoyable. Yeah.
Every time the day is actually Friday the 13th, I always watch the original one, the one with Kevin Bacon,
hmm
and I watch Jason Takes Manhattan.
Yeah, but Jason X is a goddamn case study right
I
there.
think
too.
the best part of that movie was Candyman.
Huh? From
The actor that plays Candyman comes out.
which one?
The black guy.
Tony Todd.
Yeah, he comes out.
Tony Todd was in
Yeah.
Jason X.
Remember that he kills him and then he comes back and then
Mm.
he kills him again.
No, that wasn't him.
Yes, it was.
I was like,
No,
Toots,
that
you're
was
the.
him.
I was like, no, Toots, you're the trivia expert, so I'm
no, it
deferring
was
to
him. I
you.
saw it today.
No,
Yeah,
I don't.
I'll bet you.
Tony.
You know
Todd.
what? Let me look it up right
We've
now.
got
Let
a
me look
bet
it up right
going
now.
on.
I'll bet. No, don't look.
All
it
right.
up.
I want to get in on this.
All right,
Right.
I
what,
bet you $20.
$20?
Yes, I saw
All
it
right.
today. It can't be
Oh,
wrong.
I'm gonna be ashamed of myself.
Yeah,
if
Candyman
it's-
gets killed by Jason.
All right.
And he
If
comes.
this is
He
true,
comes back to life and then he kills him again.
All right, I'll say this: if I'm wrong, then
you have to watch.
Damien owes
Yeah.
you $20.
You have to watch. You
No.
have to watch.
If you're wrong, you have to watch House of the Dead.
Oh no!
20 times in a 24-hour loop.
All
No,
right.
and then they had like Jason X also had like the cliche, like they were ripping off like every space movie always rips off Alien. Like there's the artificial intelligence person robot.
but what if I win? What if I win? What do I get? If you're
Oh,
wrong.
you want or what?
Then you have to
Huh?
watch House of the Dead.
I'll watch it.
All right, you know what? Okay, all right. You know what? Your funeral? Okay.
I'm not anteing up. Like I'm not anteing up here. I'm not.
All right.
I want to
Okay,
see.
I'll let you see the cast.
Or no, look, just look up Tony Todd.
Yeah. Tobey Maguire. Sorry.
But you remember, like there was like the robot chick,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Get ready to watch the movie.
she like beats the hell out of Jason for a second, and then he like destroys her and decapitates her or something. I don't know. Like I don't even know.
Yeah. What year was that movie? What year was Jason X?
It was like late. I think it was like '97. I don't know. I'm trying to repress any trivia that I know about that movie. Like,
Maybe he just looks like him.
Oh, you're looking out too, and you just
Uh-oh.
realize.
Uh-oh.
No, I guess it didn't come out.
Warm Boy, you might have been a little
Yeah.
too overconfident.
Well, you
there.
see the goddamn thing, and you'll see it looks just like him. Maybe it was an imposter.
You can't challenge a horror movie.
Damn, I don't
geek.
want to watch that movie.
You can't challenge
well,
a
no,
horror
you-
movie geek like Toots with movie trivia. Like you're asking for trouble.
You see now you have a plate of shit. Now you have to learn to like the taste of it. See, all filmography. Okay, let me see. I want to double check just to throw it in your face again.
Stand by, folks.
Yeah.
I'm like, stand by, folks. We're scanning.
Damien, entertain the audience.
Yeah,
will
Yeah.
you?
what year did that movie come out in?
It was Jason X was like the late 90s. I think it was 97. I don't know. We're not finding it, Warm Boy. I think you're
correct.
gonna have to
I just
watch
saw it.
House of the Dead.
Oh, really? Yeah. Show us where.
Well, no. No, I can't find it. But he looks like him.
That's poor man's Candyman.
That's probably who it was.
The actor that
2001. That's when it came out. 2001.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What?
Wow,
Yeah.
I thought Jason X was like late 90s. That's
No,
amazing.
he didn't come out.
You see? So
Ooh.
Well, do you have proof that he doesn't come out?
yeah, his name doesn't come out in the fucking credits.
That's not proof.
I apologize, folks. Like,
Damien, you stay out of this.
we are going through trivia right now. Like,
Well, let's just go to the last one.
All right. Okay. Number one is Damien.
Yeah, Damien.
the number one general consensus amongst horror movie geeks, most agree to this. The number one most awesomely bad horror movie that even has a documentary about how awesomely bad it is.
Or shitty bad, depending who you ask.
Yeah, Troll 2.
Yeah. Yeah, that one. I should say that one's more of a case study, but it's also, I don't know, it's this phenomenon that just,
Yeah, it's just
yeah.
like people like they show it in theaters and people show up like in mass groups just to watch it, to just celebrate its atrocity. Like it's
Yeah, and it's one of those, yeah, just give it up, Worm Boy, you lost.
Who does that look like? What does he look like?
okay. He resembles Tony Todd.
Yeah,
Right?
but it's not, so you still lose.
Okay, so that's, yeah,
So,
that
okay.
movie.
So for the record, all you folks out there, Candyman, Tony Todd, in case anybody else starts debating this, Tony Todd was not in Jason X.
Yeah,
It was an imposter. It was a doppelganger.
He should have been.
yeah.
It
So
was his
yeah, so
doppelganger.
Worm
Yeah,
Boy,
I'll watch the fucking movie.
yeah, Worm Boy will now have to endure what was my pain years ago, and you're gonna watch it sober, motherfucker. Too. There's no.
Well, I'm already sober.
Anyway, Troll 2.
Yeah, Troll 2. It's one of those
Wow.
where I would have to consider it because I watched it growing up. I watched it on HBO or Cinemax, and it's one of those where it is so awesomely bad. I actually do like this movie. I actually really, really like this movie.
Is there even a coherent plot, like plot line, or
The most I remember is that this family moves to Nilbog, which is goblin backwards. Spell backwards. And and everyone's very nice to them, you know, the neighbors and everything, the townsfolk, and they're trying to get them to eat this food that has like this green stuff on it.
So they can turn
And
into
then
plants.
yeah, and then like the kid's grandfather, who's a ghost, is warning the main character that don't eat this shit. If not, you'll become like this sludge, and they'll eat you.
But if you eat a fucking double-decker bologna sandwich, they won't eat you. That's fucked up. That's weird. That's shitty.
That's the anecdote. The anecdote is like a double-decker bologna sandwich.
Yeah. And I remember there was one scene where the kid tries to stop the family from eating like these sandwiches created by the Nilbog people. And he just stands up on the table and just pisses all over them. and the parents are like, "Why did you do that? Why did you do that, son?" You know, if it would have been one of us, we would have been like, "Get your ass to your room right now." But they were like, "Why'd you do that, son?"
They're trying to be understanding.
You go to your room now. You think about what you did. Yeah.
Yeah, but the best line.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great lines, but I'm sure there's like one.
There's awesomely bad lines, but you know which one, Damien.
Well, if you watch the movie, just before you watch it, eat the antidote double-decker bologna sandwich. But okay, I'm gonna do the line. It's Arnold. I'm sure everybody knows what's coming. I'm sure all you horror geeks out there know the line. Nobody look at me. Everybody look away. Where Arnold. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna get into character, and you guys can laugh. It's cool. Just don't look at me. The famous line where Arnold says, "They're eating her, and then they're gonna eat me." Oh my God! And they zoom in on him, like, and there's like a fly on his forehead or something, and they're like, "Oh, we don't have to do another take. We'll just keep the take where there's a fly on his forehead."
Yeah. Oh my God, just killed it.
It was one of those where the director, I guess, just didn't believe in second takes. And he's like,
he's like, fuck it.
Yeah.
I'm high, so fuck it.
and I really love the ending because it is so terrible. Where I think like the mother ends up eating something and she turns into this sludge, and you see all the goblins just eating her.
Yeah.
And then one of them just turns around in this shit voice, going like, "Want some, Joshua?" And then you just see him like scream, and it's a freeze frame, and that's where it ends.
But Toots, do you know the name of the documentary about Troll 2?
I'm trying to remember the name of it.
I want to watch that.
No, the documentary. I saw some of it, and it's actually very interesting.
It's a documentary like celebrating the atrocity of Troll 2.
Okay.
In fact, I think I've seen the entire thing.
And don't they talk about like how people like celebrate how
like
terrible this movie is?
Yeah, it is beyond terrible that it became awesome.
Like, what was the phrase that you used? It's the stuff of legend.
It is.
Troll
the stuff
2 is just the stuff of legend.
Yeah, this is one of those movies I enjoy watching because it's so horrible.
Yeah.
Especially to hear that fucking line.
Yeah, and
I'm waiting for an opportunity to use the "Oh my God."
Maybe you should.
You should use it at work.
Sign off with it.
But yeah, like
what's wrong with him?
Oh my God, that's gonna become our sign off for our podcast. Oh my God.
That sounds good.
But yeah, the documentary is actually quite fascinating. It's actually where you see all these fans show up and they have these T-shirts and everything and memorabilia, and actually the guy that played the father, I think he became a dentist. And I think every year, whenever they have like the big festivals, he actually goes out and he actually visits, you know. And he's just enjoying the ride, like in terms of like all these fans, like for this very, very horrible horror movie, you know. But it's so horrible that it just goes to the other side and just makes it awesome, yeah.
Well, there's a lot of more shitty movies out there and really bad ones.
Yeah, this isn't going to be just the only top 10 or list of awesomely bad / shitty bad horror movies.
Well, it's like I said, their bad horror movies are a dime a dozen. Like, there's endless titles, there's endless franchise. Like,
Ginger Dead Man.
if we missed
Manos the
anything,
Hands of Fate.
like,
Yeah.
like, if you actually listened all the way through to this point in the podcast, like, and you listened to all the ones that we named, and you can think of some other ones, like, feel free to, like, name them in the comments, like, shoot a comment to us, and, like, feel free to voice your opinion about ones that we mentioned. Like, are they awesomely bad, or are they just shitty bad?
Yeah, just
like, awesomely bad being entertaining to watch, shitty bad being, you know, giving you a need for therapy.
Yeah.
Like, so
all right.
that'll be our episode for this week.
All right. So we'll see you all next week, our next podcast. So this is Toots.
Damien.
Worm Boy.
Signing off.
All right. See ya.
See you.